I listened to this awesome 20-minute training today in the Beachbody Champions page, and this is a good plug for the Beachbody Champions page. If you're not in the Beachbody Champions page on Facebook, it's basically like a hub for coaches, and there's lots of great training in there, but I can't remember the girl's name off the top of my head, but if you just search Team Cup in there, it's probably like really close to the top. But she did a great like 5 point just training on Team Cup, and it really fired me up because Team Cup is a really special opportunity to take a month and work harder than you ever have before and produce more than you ever have before and really see your momentum ride on that, your business ride on that momentum. We always feel momentum in the summer, right? Or like around a new launch or around the new year, but we don't want that momentum to slow down that we're feeling from the new year. So it just like got me excited because I'm like, what if all of us 10x everything that we did and 10x our mindsets and 10x our work ethic and just believed in bigger things and believed in bigger goals? Because if you set a bigger goal, you're going to stretch more, you're going to push more, you're going to believe that something new is possible besides SC6, or SC10 and rank advance. So I just really want everyone to take Team Cup as the opportunity to like blow their normal out of the water, like whatever that is for you. Stretch yourself somehow, and like use the momentum of everybody else in Team Cup. And then it's not to say blow it out of the water and then coast for the rest of 2020. But I have watched so many trainings where so many coaches say they had to take a chunk of time and grind. And I don't feel like it's as long as we think it has to be, but get that momentum in February. And I really think Team Cup is going to be so instrumental for that.
I want to say one thing to that too, because I've had a few coaches reach out and say, I'm really scared. I've done Team Cup before and it was like super overwhelming, or I just don't want to let the team down. And that's such a BS fear reason to not do it. I'm just going to be straight up. This is some DJ tough love, because you guys, you learn so much. Like, we're mixing the teams up for a reason so that you can connect with somebody else that you might not know and learn from them in a different way. So the whole point of Team Cup is not to like, you have to hit this mark, but to push yourself outside your comfort zone and do the things that you're probably not normally doing because you're just kind of coasting, right? So it's just a really great way to do the things you can do, but maybe you haven't done yet and you want to do, because you're going to be surrounded by people that are getting outside their comfort zone too. So just wanted to add it. If you're scared, that's exactly the reason you need to do it.
Love it. Yeah, they hit the nail on the head with that. So make sure you guys get registered. If you're not, post in team pages. Shout out to your upline. We will figure it out for you. Also,
Better just stand up for a minute. You're acting nervous and I don't like it. Shake it out, Rach.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're like, well, you guys don't know.
It might be because I'm trying not to get out of breath.
Okay.
Really fast. I'm gonna get into all of what's going on. So if you guys are like, why she can get out of breath? I'm 33 weeks pregnant. But we can shake and dance if you want. I don't want to get up because I'm comfy. But moving forward, train of thoughts lost. Oh yeah, the other announcement, if you're not on, or look for the Success Club, opt in. The link that you can opt in if you're not already on there. I know a lot of coaches have already signed up for that, which hopefully everyone can get on there and coordinate. I was talking about the Team Cup. Coordinate with your upline. I'm like, what was I saying before? I think that's the only two announcements that are different. It's not really different. Oh, if you're not in our Level Up Your Life group, guys, get in that freaking group. It is like the most inspirational group I've seen in such a long time. So make sure that you reach out to your upline. If you don't know what that group is, get involved with that, because that's the shift I see happening in so many coaches right now, is being a part of that community. We talk so much about community. And yeah, the energy is incredible. I literally have been scrolling through and I'm like, look at these freaking girls' visions. Like, people are dreaming again, which brings so much happiness to my soul. So make sure you get in that plug-in. Recognition. Does anyone have recognition?
I don't have recognition, but I had one more reminder was the Summit referral program is ending on the 31st. So if you are signing up for Summit, like tell your upline, because then they can help you get that referral. And so what happens is if you sign up for Summit and you also get Team Cup points for that. But if you sign up for Summit and you put someone else's name down as like they referred you to sign up, you both get a special workout at Summit. So let's do what we can to get as many people signed up. I mean, that could be a whole separate call on why you should get your asses to Summit, because it is life-changing. But biggest thing I want to say is like, do it before the end of this month and tell someone that you're going to do it so that we can figure out how to get all of us to that exclusive workout. That was all I was going to say. Get your butts to Summit.
Add that really quick because I'm fired up about Summit too. Guys, okay, it's 2 days left in the month to get Summit tickets at the cheapest that you can get it. So to not get it this month because you're nervous, you're a new coach, or you might think like, I don't know if I'll be around then, or I don't know what's going on then. Like, I'm telling you right now, if that's the mindset that you have, you're not going to do anything in this business. Like you have to be all in right now. Like, order your ticket, tell your job that you need those vacation days, find a babysitter, get to this event, because there is nothing more important for your business than Summit. It's going to be in New Orleans. I know it's out of your comfort zone. I know money might be tight. Like, I know everything that it could possibly be, because at one point in 2014, when I went to my first Summit, I didn't know a damn person. I stayed with a stranger named Rachel Kalil and a couple other people that I had never met before. Ended up having best friends come out of it, ended up having a life-changing year in my business. And I was only a coach for 4 months. I put everything on a credit card. I had no money. Rachel and I were so broke. We were splitting meals in Las Vegas and sharing $13 beers. Like, it was crazy, but the experience of it was everything, and it catapulted my business. It really taught me to treat this like a business, and I left there with a confidence that I would have never found just through a screen like this. Like, you have to be there and feel it and experience it. So I just wanted to go off on a little tangent, because we have 2 days left to get it at the cheapest price. And if you're on this call yet and you're not registered, just do it. Just do it. Okay.
Brought back some good old memories from, but yes, everything Natalie just said about Summit, it was spot on. I remember sitting in the restaurant and we were like, dude, a chicken salad, salad with a piece of chicken costs like $25. I'm like, can we get it without the chicken and just eat the lettuce for like 20? But really, if you're here for the business, there's literally no excuse as to why you shouldn't be there or why you can't go. There's so much time to plan to get there, and it'll figure itself out. Like, I don't even have a room yet either, but I know I'll figure it out when it gets closer. No stressing. But I want to. Does anyone else have any recognition?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So my coach, Alicia's on here, one of my downline coaches, and she just completed the Ultimate Reset. My team is like on an Ultimate Reset wave, which is wild. Claire actually started that up, and she lost something like, I don't know, 11 pounds, a ridiculous amount of inches. I'm just super duper proud of you guys. She lives in Alabama, so y'all know holiday food is for real in the South. So super proud of you, girl, and proud of you for being here.
That's amazing. I love the Ultimate Reset. I've done it 3 times now, and I plan on doing it after this baby. So go. Anybody else have recognition they want to show? Any new coaches want to unmute themselves and go ahead, Nat?
I just wanted to shout out my new coach. It's her first call. I think that's her. Alex is on the call. So what up, girl? Welcome. Can't see her. You guys, if you want, just open your video. You can stay muted.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't think I can see her face, but it's okay. Yeah, don't be afraid to show your faces. I like seeing faces rather than just boxes.
I want to shout out, I think Christina's going to watch this back, but she got on her first call last week. She made her first social media post last night and she didn't die. So she is feeling good and so excited to be in Level Up. So that's just the power. She saw you guys in there crushing things and she's like, okay, maybe I can't. I'm like, yeah, you absolutely can. Go do it. So shout out to Christina. She faced a huge fear yesterday and I know she's just going to continue to keep knocking those fears right between the eggs. That's all I had.
Any new coach want to shout themselves out or have someone they want to shout out or just say anything? I know it can be scary as a new coach to unmute, but rip the Band-Aid off. No. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to get right into tonight's call. It's so weird. I feel like I don't know half of you on this call. But that's a good thing because that means we're bringing in new faces and that's what we want to see constantly on these calls. I will introduce myself. My name is obviously Rachel Kalil. I started this business 6 freaking years ago. Believe it or not, 6 years ago, January 20th, 2014. Guys, times were different then as a Beachbody coach. Just to give you a quick background or preview of what we had to go through, I used to have to ask people for their social security numbers and their credit cards for them to sign up with a challenge pack, which only consisted of one program, aka DVDs, and the nutrition booklet and calendar. They only got one. So if they wanted to do another program, they had to purchase full price, just like we did as coaches. So it's been a while. There's been so much growth in this company, which is incredible. So if you're newer to the coaching gig, like you're freaking sitting on a gold mine because what we offer today is insane compared to what we had to do in the past. Like just share a cart in general is amazing. But so I started when I was 24 years old. Guys, I'm 30 now. I'll be 31 this year, which is crazy to me. And the girl I was when I signed up is not the girl you're going to hear tonight. And I think that that's a good thing. I would hope that I had grown in those 6 years of being a coach. But I'm not the same girl and I don't have the same visions that I did. And that's going to be a big point for tonight. So tonight I'm going to talk about kind of not necessarily like my whole story, but 2 pivotal moments in my business that I hope you can either learn from, you can have a big eye-opening point, or I hope that you hear something from this call that really inspires you, that when you leave this call tonight, it's almost like I'm shaking you from across the screen and you wake the F up, because what I'm going to share with you is going to be hopefully powerful. That's my goal. I'm not going to try to go long with the call. I'll try to keep it as short as possible because I know there's another call after this if you hop on that. So when I first started coaching, I was 24 years old, newly military spouse, just moved to North Carolina, was looking for something like most of us do right when we find this business opportunity. But I started because of the business opportunity. I didn't necessarily start because of the workout programs. And to be completely honest, I never had like this crazy weight loss transformation with my programs. I started with T25, old school T25. I still love Shanti so much. Guys, 21 Day Fix wasn't even launched yet. Like that's crazy to me. It came out the next following month and then went on back order. Luckily, I was able to snag it with my husband's account, but like that's how far I feel like I've been in this business for a while. But so I never had that crazy transformation, or I never really led with the weight loss transformation success story. I always kind of led with the business opportunity, because why I started was to change my family's life. And if you know me, which there's like 6 of you on here that have been with me through the whole journey, maybe 7. I wanted to create this life for my family that I never imagined was possible. So early on, I created that vision board, which if you haven't done, I beg you to do your vision boards. And little by little, I just got to work. I put my head down. I did exactly what my mentor told me. Liz Harkey's my upline. I did exactly what she said, hit Success Club, plug into the teams, go to events. Like, I did everything I was supposed to, and I just hustled my ass off. My husband was wrestling for the Marine Corps, so he was gone quite often, and I had the time to put into my business. Like, I could give 8 hours a day, I could give 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and it didn't matter. I was so passionate about it that it lit me up. And I knew every single day, and quickly, within the first 2 years, I started to achieve a lot of the things I had set on my vision board for myself, which when I did that, like, I did it as a joke almost, because I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to actually like achieve this stuff. But little by little, I kept working, I kept grinding, I kept showing up, and I started to see the fruits of my labor being paid off. I paid off my debt, bought a car. I'm so out of breath. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to like calm myself down or breathe right, whatever. But I started doing all the things, and this was one of the biggest mistakes that I noticed probably 4.5 years into my business, was that as I kept checking off these boxes of achieving the things that I wanted to achieve for my family, I didn't continue to vision my life years down the road. Does that make sense? So I kind of only envisioned my life 5 years from at the age of 24, and I never kept growing that mindset or what I wanted to do, because I really didn't know what I wanted to achieve, because I didn't think I was going to achieve all of these things. And so that was the biggest mistake that I made, was that I stopped looking at the future and what I wanted my life to look like, what I wanted my family's life to look like. And where that led me was, I gotta take a breath of water. That led me to the year 2007, the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. I achieved this big goal that I had set for myself in my business, and I, unfortunately, not her fault by any means, got recognized for the wrong thing in the business, and it just like derailed me. It was the one point in my entire coaching career that I was so focused on pushing and achieving this goal that was recognition based and not based off of my values of everything else. And when I wasn't recognized for the proper thing, it's so stupid. It derailed me, and it set me back so much, and it put me in such a bad place in my business. And it's not Upline's fault, because she has a big ass team. She has like 10,000 coaches. The problem was I was pushing for the wrong things in my business. I was pushing for that recognition. I was pushing for to what Natalie just said, to be seen. I was pushing for to have that shiny object flash in my face. And when it got screwed up, I was like, well, what the hell? If she doesn't care, why should I care? Right? So that was the beginning of 2018. And that was kind of the setback. I want to say I'm going to go through the next 18 months with you. But that was the thing. And I stopped caring because I was leading my business. I changed my mindset. Instead of knowing what to grow or what I wanted to push for my family, I was pushing for the accolades. I was pushing for the recognition, which that is not why I started this business. I started it to live this life that I wanted. And somewhere along the way, I lost that focus because I wasn't continuing to dream essentially for myself. And I got wrapped up into that stupid recognition part, which my mindset was just so poor. It was so bad. If my mindset was in the right place, I probably would have laughed it off because it's such a small recognition piece. And my husband's always been the best person when it came to comparing myself to other coaches in the business. And he's like, Rachel, how long does that last for you? He's like, until the next person's recognized, which could essentially be like 30 seconds. And I was like, oh, you're so right. But for some reason, I couldn't pull myself out of that downward spiral of not feeling good enough for myself. And it's because I lost that vision. I lost that sight for myself. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two came 4 months later in my business. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's called motherhood. If you guys don't know, my daughter came for a month early. So she was born at 36 weeks, which is considered premature. It's like late premature. She was fine. But motherhood kicked my ass hardcore. And I think one of the biggest struggles I've dealt with since becoming a mom and realizing all of this too was that in a corporate world or a corporate setting, once you have your kid, you're given 6 weeks off. Like you get 6 weeks to completely disconnect from your work and to focus on your new life as a mom, surviving the new routine, because you're going to get your ass, like it's hard. It's not easy by any means. There's no sleep if you're a mom, and my mistake here was having my daughter come early, obviously completely unprepared. I never gave myself that time off, not to just recover physically, but mainly to recover mentally, because I went into this place where I had her and I was so afraid for my business to crumble because of what happened 4 months ago that me stopped caring. I started to run my business out of fear that everything I had built up until this point was going to just crumble on me. Guys, this is 5 years in the making of me running this business. And I was like, my leaders, I can't be there for them because I'm in such a mental shithole. I was like, if you've been around long enough, you're gonna get this reference. If not, it's okay. But I literally told my husband, I'm like, they're gonna Sam me. They're going to pull a Sam on me, like, and just jump ship. I didn't want that to happen because I love this business. I'm here for this business. It's my second baby, I guess. First baby, I don't know what you want to call it. But it did. And I didn't take the time to really grasp. So I was running my business completely out of fear. And you could just see it in my posts, my challenges. None of my challenges that I signed up that year are with me here today because you could feel that fear. It was a forceful thing that I was doing. It wasn't me. It wasn't authentic. And I put myself into this comparison game. And if you were in the team page, but after I had my child, you might want to smack me across the face because I did a post and I was like, here's my schedule on how I'm going to work my business 1 week after having her. Mind you, she was early. And it was like, I'm going to wake up with her, feed her, put her down for a nap. She's going to sleep for an hour and I'm going to work my business in these hour increments, meaning I was going to work 4 hours a day. And that was my picture perfect mom life, new boss life schedule. Yeah, that didn't work. If you have a kid, you know your schedules don't work like that. Like, if I saw that, I would have smacked somebody across the face and be like, you're joking, right? Like, good luck, have fun. But that was my mentality because I was so scared that I didn't want to not show up for my business because I thought it was going to just slip away from me and just go away. And that set me into a deeper spiral, because then as I'm going through postpartum, I realized that I don't know who I relate to anymore. I went through this weird phase where I didn't know who I could speak to, like who my audience was. Because yeah, I'm technically a new mom, but I don't feel like a new mom. I mean, I have a little baby, but I still feel like my old self, but those people can't really relate to me anymore. Like, I was a mental mess. I had no clarity, didn't take time for myself. And guys, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And I wish I could tell you that it got easier, but I did. Mistake number 3 is I pulled myself away even further from the community. And it makes me want to throw a punch myself, because when people come to me, I'm like, lean into the team, like, you need to be a part of our community. And then here I am doing the complete opposite and putting myself in a shell and isolating myself and seeing all these other moms in this business that were just kicking ass. And I'm like, some of these moms have like 4 kids. I'm like, how the F are they doing this? And I have a newborn that's a great sleeper. I'm like, and I can't even pull myself to post on social media anymore. That's how bad it got for me. I was so stuck. And I don't know why it got that bad or how it got that bad. Well, I know how. Now I do. But I couldn't pull myself out of this rut that I was in. And I wish I had the strength to reach out to the team, because I feel like y'all would have been like, girl, you got it. Like, it's okay. But I didn't have that, because I somewhere along the line put myself above everybody else, as selfish as that sounds. And I saw myself as the leader. Technically I'm the leader of the pack, right? And I can't let my team see me fail. I can't let my team see me crumble. I can't tell them that I need 2 weeks of complete detox, because then they're going to do this without me, or they're going to quit, and I couldn't do it. And I was so afraid to admit that. And I had basically taken the entire year to figure this shit out as to why I lost my passion, why I lost my vision, why I lost that drive that we feel so much in the beginning of our business. Like, where did it go? Not that I ever contemplated on quitting, because that's not my nature. I mean, it would be suicide if I actually walked away from this, to be completely honest. But I didn't have fun with it anymore. I didn't like posting on Facebook or Instagram, because I didn't know who to post to, and it was hard. And if you're about to be a new mom, I'm sorry if I'm scaring you. I really hope I don't. It's a beautiful thing. But along with that, I talked to family members about this rut that I was in. I talked to corporate Kim Carver. He is like a godsend from heaven. If you ever get the opportunity to talk to him, please do. I had a really good conversation with him about everything I was going through. So I started to slowly open up about where I was. How do I move forward from this? And I basically took the entire year to figure it out. Do I recommend that? Absolutely not. But so this is getting me to the next point. So December of last year, 2019 comes around, and I'm like, all right, like warming up the shoulders, getting ready to go. Like, I felt the passion again. And a lot of this was because we reconnected as a team and as a community. And I was like, this is going to be the turning point year. This is the freaking year. I'm getting my shit back together. I got a brand new planner, which I'm not a planner person. So when I buy a planner, like, it's a pretty big deal. I sat down and I wrote out my vision the first week in January. And I was like, okay, I have this new baby coming, so my life's about to be a shitstorm again. But I have a plan. I have family. I have help. Like, I finally reached out for help, which is another big thing for me. And then I created my vision for not just a year, but for 3 years and 5 years. So I essentially know what I want to achieve by the time I'm 36. And y'all, it made me so freaking excited to look at that vision. And it took me like a week to figure it out. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a really long time. But it gave me that passion and that drive that I craved so hard for in the beginning of my business and when I was going through that messy stuff. And then 2 weeks into January, I'm 30 weeks pregnant then, got diagnosed with this beautiful thing called cholestasis of pregnancy. I've never heard of it. Has anybody heard of that on the call? I think Elena probably has because she's a NICU nurse. Okay, and Jess. So I've never heard of it. I did some research after reaching out to doctors, and I was just like, are you mother effing kidding me? Like, really? If you don't know, I have really shitty pregnancies. I'm sick the entire time. And once I was officially diagnosed with that, I was like, holy shit, what the hell? Like, these are my expressions. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I finally feel like I'm in a good place where I can share what's going on, share my heart, get back into the business. And they're telling me I'm getting induced a freaking month early again. Well, I didn't get induced the first time. Cholestasis is, if I didn't say, I don't even know if I'm saying it properly. It's basically my body developed a liver dysfunction. So my bile acids are not properly. And I don't know, like, I'm just trying to figure out what this is myself. If I'm being completely honest, so if there's nurses on here, I apologize for my lack of terminology. But basically what it means is I have to be monitored twice a week for the next 3 weeks, and I will be induced at 36 weeks because I can't go any longer. Otherwise, it could result in a stillbirth. And I'm not gonna lie, when I read that online, I was like, a fucking stillbirth? Like, what? I'm healthy. I'm active. Why does this why pregnancy hates my body so much? And I was so fortunate that I caught it when I did. Thank God for Instagram. Because when I was talking about my symptoms, I was really itchy. And someone was like, girl, call your OB. Like, that's not a good sign. And I was like, really? Like, pregnancy is weird in general. Isn't that just normal? And my liver bile levels were severely high. Go figure. So after that appointment, I'm sitting here. I don't mean to get emotional. I really don't. But I'm like, am I gonna have, like, is this baby gonna come? Like, is he gonna die inside of me? And I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, the second thing that went into my head, I said, how the F am I gonna run my business if I go through that, right? Like, how am I gonna actually do that? Because I don't think I would. And yeah, so it was really hard news. And I was just so sad because I had so much excitement to get back and get on my feet. I need to take a drink, hold on. And then you read all this stuff, and Dr. Google's fantastic these days and really knows how to scare the shit out of you. Yeah, so my liver levels were extremely high. So that basically paralyzed me for all of the last 2 weeks because I'm sitting there literally pushing my stomach constantly. Are you awake? Are you alive? Are you in there? Which is not a fun thing to go through. Not a good thing to go through. So here's the most important part that I want you guys to hear from this call. If you want more information on my symptoms, I have to go, let me just explain this to you. I have to go twice a week for the next 2 weeks to sit in a chair strapped up to make sure he's moving. And there's like little tests that they do along with blood work every single week to make sure that my liver levels don't spike. If they spike, I get induced sooner, which my blood work takes like 5 days to come back. So let me just tell you that 5-day waiting period is one of the most stressful things I've ever gone through. So I'm like, shit, if my levels come back, am I going to have to go in? So it's been hard the last 2 weeks. I haven't opened up about this, but as pissed off as I was with everything happening, I have to come to, what's the word? I have to come to peace knowing that my goals that I had set for myself this year they might change, and I have to be okay with that. I have to stop comparing myself to what everybody else is doing and be okay with what I can give, because that's what's gonna keep me moving forward. And so, moral of that story, if you're going through shit, like shitty shit, give what you can give without completely pulling back. That's kind of like the moral of the story too. But I have another part, is don't beat yourself up if you see the next person over giving 20 hours of their day to this business or 20 hours a week, and you're sitting there and you're like, I can only literally post on social media today. Like, give yourself grace through that time of hard, and just know that this is a season of life. This is just a small season that I'm going through, so that when my kids are off at school, I know for a fact that my business is going to be freaking rocking again, because I'm going to have so much more time that I can give to my business. And I know that when I have him, he's healthy and he's fine, and I get a schedule and I have help, like I can give myself to my business, but I have to be okay with not pouring it in all at once and not running my business from fear. And I want to end this before I open it up for comments and questions, is to open your fucking eyes, because I have built my business so much and I hustled so hard the first 4 years of my life and my business that I was allowed to essentially take an 18-month break to figure my shit out. 18 months where I wasn't pushing for goals, I wasn't pushing for Success Club. My business did not fall apart. I wasn't happy with that outcome. I wouldn't wish anybody to do that. But because I worked so hard and because I hustled and because I saw that opportunity, because I had that vision, I was able to just work on myself and figure that shit out and still have a 6-figure income. I didn't lose any income. Like, do you guys understand the opportunity at your hands? Like, if you are not where you want to be financially, what are you doing? Stop making excuses for yourself. Wake the fuck up. Like, this is me shaking you to wake the F up, because there's no way in hell, if I had a corporate job, I could take off the time I need to take off for the next 3 weeks. Going to doctor's appointments twice a week for the past, it will be 5 weeks essentially. Like, that's that's not okay. It's unheard of. Nobody would give me that. I'd probably be fired. So wake the F up. That's my moral story, is you have such an incredible opportunity at your fingertips. And if you are not showing up for your business, and if you're not putting in the work now, so that when life happens down the road and you need to take time for yourself, whether it's a loss in the family, whether it's infertility, whatever it may be, whether it's a move, whatever it may be, that life, because it's going to happen. Life doesn't stop, right? Like, it just doesn't stop. So that you can be so financially secure where it's okay to take time. Just don't isolate yourself like I did from the team. And that's that. I have a lot of comments in here. Does anyone have any questions for me? Sorry, was that a lot?
I think it's important for people to know where you are now.
In terms of what?
I mean, you're sitting in your dream home that you guys just finished building.
Yes, that's very true. So some of the things
Some of the things on your vision board, you know.
Yeah. Some of the things on, I just saw motherhood still kicks my ass, and it does to me too, by the way. My child's wild. I can't handle it. But so on my vision board, remember, this was 24-year-old Rachel that had no kids, 2 dogs, and was full of living life. I paid off my student loan debt in 10 months. So I had $30,000 in student loans. After Summit, it was a Chris Hogan talk that Natalie and I went to at Summit 2014. And I went home, like, that was the talk of my lifetime that I saw. And I was like, Woody, I'm getting us out of freaking debt. Like, I'm doing it. And I did. I got us out of credit card debt at the end of 2014, which was about $10,000. And then I ended up paying off my student loans, which was $30,000 that following year. Well, 10 months that following year. We bought a brand new car. And I know that sounds like what's that word? Superstitious? No, not superstitious. Superficial. Pregnancy brain and mom brain. I got no brain. But one of like the big things is I've always wanted to just like drive a car off a lot brand new with 0 miles on it. And like, that was really important to me back then because I was so young and I didn't have kids. So I bought a brand new car off the lot. We went on a dream vacation to Italy. I took my parents on one of the Success Club trips, which was the cruise, which was like one of the highlights of my life. Like, it was hilarious. Took Woody on a trip. Woody's my husband, if you don't know. Took him on a trip. I was able to actually give him the opportunity to retire at the age of 20. I think he was 27 or 28. I think he was 28. When he separated with the military, I built my business up to the point where if he didn't want to work, he didn't have to. Obviously, he was young, he wanted to work, but he could basically choose what he wanted to do. Like, and that was an incredible gift to give to somebody. Like, hey, you want to take 6 months off? Go ahead, I got it. And then, oh my gosh, just crying. One of the biggest things was what we just did last year, which we freaking built this house that I'm sitting in, which was just, it's crazy. It still doesn't hit me all the way. But yeah, I'm totally a risk taker, and I run towards risk. My husband's like not. He's like very secure. And I was like, listen, I'm gonna make this happen. And we did. And so we're living a really good life. See, from the outside looking in, you would think that like we have our shit together. But within those past year, I was falling apart. And I think that just goes to say, like, you can have all the things and still just be a mess inside. I should probably see a therapist, honestly, but I haven't gotten that far yet. Any other questions?
I want to add something really quick. As somebody that came in, I feel like, Rach, you were just getting started. Natalie, you were just getting started. And when you said this, Rach, I feel like you were such a new coach, but people flocked to you because you had such a huge vision and you were like relentless. And like, that's something that attracted me to Natalie. Like, she's like, I'm going to quit my State Farm job. Like, we're going to be out of debt. Like, we're going to do this. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay. But I got on board. Like, I got on board with you, Rachel, and I got on board with Natalie. And they were these new coaches with like huge aspirations, and they didn't maybe know the how yet, but them speaking that with so much belief made me believe bigger things for my life. And so I think about how I'm working on shifting my leadership to that new huge vision that excites new coaches and excites people to run with you. And like, remembering to dream again and like create that thing that feels impossible and then go make it possible. So to new coaches, or, you know, if you feel new on this call and you're like stuck like that too, like it doesn't matter what your rank is, doesn't matter what you're making at in Beachbody, or if you even know how you would make it happen. But if you just believe in it and start speaking it to the people, like speak it unapologetically, I feel like that's where your dream team is built. That's where your team that creates like a financial life stability life like that is built. You know what I'm trying to say, guys? I just feel like we forget that. You know, we think we have to have the how, but people believe in you because of what you believe is possible for your life. And I just think it does not matter what rank you are. It does not matter how long you've been building this business. That's why people go from Emerald to 15-star in a year, because they have massive belief. And so I just wanted to say thanks, because you were leaders that believed in those big things, which helped me believe in big things. And that's the kind of leader that I am. Not gonna be am. So I just love you guys, and that's the kind of team that we have. So let's level up like that this year as a squad. You know, like let's believe in those bigger things so that we're helping other people believe in bigger things, and we're all living in our dream homes and paying off debt and able to take off that time, because she's so right. Like, it's scary. I mean, we all got rattled Sunday with what happened, and I think we can all agree that life is short. And we want to build freedom like that, to where we can enjoy the people that we love the most. The car's great, but we want to be able to enjoy the people that we love most in the nice car.
It's a Ford Explorer. It's nothing fancy.
But she did share that vision. Like, Rachel kind of flies under the radar for those of you guys that don't know her. But everybody on this team knew her goals. And so one thing that I would say, if you're like, I haven't even written my vision for January or the year, or I haven't finished my vision board, one of the things that I think about a lot, I'm like, why in the beginning was it so exciting? Guys, I'd call my grandmother every week and talk to her about my team. So like, find somebody in your family or friends or something that you can just like speak to this, because Rachel would talk about it in the team all the time. And it was just like this, you just knew she was going to do it, and you didn't know how, but it was going to happen. And she just kept putting the new visions. And if you hate your vision, you got to get another one. So I'm really proud of you for sharing, Rach, and we're sending you all the love. And let's level up.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought this would be like a good time too. It's like, Rach, I put in the chat, I don't know if you saw, but around this time I'm always like reflecting, because it's like your 6 years and then my 6 years is in a couple weeks. And if you guys don't know, Rachel is my coach. I was the first person on Rachel's team. So when she brought me into the business, it was like she didn't know anything, so she couldn't really mentor me. So we were like success partners. And that's what I wanted to go into, is I think the power of finding somebody that aligns with your vision, that is actually going to push you. Like, Rachel and I didn't know what the heck we were doing. We knew we just wanted to make big things happen in our life. And I admired Rachel so much because she was always so brave. She was like, I'm going to pay off my debt. I'm going to do all of these things. And I wanted those things, but I didn't have the confidence yet to speak them into belief. And because of her, I kind of rode on that. I rode on her, what is that word? Tail, skirt, coattail, skirt, whatever. I rode on that. I trailed her in those goals, because she was brave enough to walk first. But one thing, like for me, is like, while I was scared, I still act tough on the surface. So Rachel would be like, oh, I'm pushing for these goals, and I'm trying to get my debt paid off. And Rachel would say things like, my dad, he's been such a godsend. Like, he's been helping me pay off my student loan. And Rachel and I would talk about how much money we were making and how our income was growing in the business. And I just looked at her one day and I was like, you need to call your dad and take over that payment. And Rachel's like, huh? Like, I do? And I was like, yes, you do. Like, you can do this. And it's like, I wasn't even able to believe in myself enough that I could do it, but I believed enough in Rachel, and Rachel believed enough in me. So we were constantly like back and forth pushing each other. And I think for me, that was just so instrumental for me, so powerful for me, especially in my first year, to just keep leveling up and keep going. So find somebody on this call, in this page, that you can be like, share vision boards with, see what you have aligned, that you can hold accountable, that you can speak truth into. You know, Rachel would tell me to level up all the time. I would do the same for her. And it was a relationship that, you know, we had that I think really built our businesses in the beginning.
So true. And I forgot that little challenge you gave me. And I almost shit my pants. That payment was like nearly $700. And I was like, really? But when I was able to call my dad to be like, hey, next month, like I'm paying the bill, and like I'm taking it over, and knowing that was actually what was stopping him from retiring. Gosh, that's so long ago. And it like sat on my heart so bad that I was the reason my dad couldn't retire from his job. And so when I remember making that phone call, and I was like, Dad, I got it. Like, I can finally take this over. Like, I'm doing well. And he was like, no, I'll give you a couple more months. Like, don't worry about it. Like, save up. And I was like, no, like next month I'm paying that bill. And he retired that year, which is like, you know, my parents, I'm like a huge family person. My parents, especially my dad, is like my heart and soul. I like to think I'm like him most. Not like my mom. I'm just kidding. Oh, anywho, does anyone have anything else? No. Well, I hope that you either had an eye-opening moment, you felt shook from me physically shaking you across the screen, or you took some lesson from this call. I know I'm the quiet one. I apologize. I'm trying to be better with that. But I mean, I love every single one of you guys on this call, even though I haven't met half of you. I can't wait to meet you at Summit. I'll be there. And let's just fuck this year up, regardless of what happens. Okay, have a good night. Bye.